Dave Evans' love of chemistry shines through in both his research and in his joy of sharing that passion with students. This synthetic organic chemist has illuminated our understanding of reaction mechanisms while creating the tools and techniques that make possible ever more complex molecular synthesis. But perhaps his most enduring legacy will be the many students he has mentored and the approach to teaching organic chemistry he has made standard. For his groundbreaking research in revolutionizing organic reaction chemistry, the Welch Foundation honors David A. Evans with the 2012 Welch Award in Chemistry. Named after Houston oil man and philanthropist Robert Alonzo Welch, this award recognizes chemists whose dedication to basic research contributes to the betterment of humankind. Dr. Evans has changed the way scientists think about and carry out complex molecule synthesis. He has opened the door to producing quantities of biologically active compounds that are frequently found in very small amounts in nature. His work has made it possible to create structural analogs of these natural products to battle cancer and bacterial diseases.
Dave is an extraordinary scientist. He is a scholar first and foremost. He has a deep and penetrating knowledge of the literature. He's written a lot of it. He is thorough, he's creative, and he thinks very deeply about his science.
Dave has always used synthesis as an excuse for learning about chemistry and physical organic chemistry as an excuse for making complicated molecules. And it's a wonderful combination. He both is a synthetic chemist and a physical organic chemist and a scholar all at the same time. And Dave understands chemistry with a depth and with a subtlety that very few people do. It's most attractive to be around.
With his father, an artist and cartographer, Dr. Evans always loved working with his hands. Chemistry provided a natural fit for both his manual and intellectual life skills.
Organic chemistry is very appealing if you like to build things. Because you have this carbon-based architecture that allows for three-dimensional construction.
One of Dr. Evans' most important contributions has been the discovery of methods that control the chirality or handedness of organic structures during their construction. For more than 4 decades, he has focused on the development of new reaction methods to achieve absolute stereocontrol in carbon-carbon bond formation. Today, many therapeutic compounds are highly complex three-dimensional entities with some possessing up to 25 asymmetric centers, with each additional center increasing the complexity exponentially. While challenging to work with, these multiple centers provide drugs with higher selectivity, allowing more targeted and effective delivery. Stuart Schreiber recalls his first meeting with Dr. Evans at a symposium 35 years ago.
I went to see the giants of the field, and I met them, but I also saw the future, and I met Dave Evans. I saw then what is central to his greatness. He has this amazing ability to take very complex discoveries, including ones that he's made, and convey them in a very simple way.
Dr. Evans earned his doctorate at the California Institute of Technology. He served on the faculties of UCLA and Caltech before moving to Harvard in 1983, where he is the Abbott and James Lawrence Professor of Chemistry and Research Professor. A math and science teacher herself, Sally Evans has supported all of his career moves. Aptly enough, they first met in a high school chemistry class and started dating after they were both accepted to Oberlin College in 1959. On their second date, he dared her to jump off a high bridge. She did.
I was really impressed with her nerve, actually. So we got married and lived happily ever after. She's a fun person to be with, and she's a very caring person, and she's a very smart person.
The two share a love of adventure and outdoor sports, including scuba diving, hiking, and boating. They have one daughter, Bethan, and two grandsons, Stephen and Christopher. They also love Springer Spaniels and recently welcomed a new puppy, Oliver, into their lives. While waiting to land a teaching position after the 1983 move to Harvard, Sally served as secretary, lab designer, and general group mother.
Dave has the ability to focus on things, which is just amazing. One of his great strengths, though, I think, is his educational abilities. With his former students have all been just super people, and they have done marvelous things in their lives. And we've had lifelong friendships with many of them.
He is an enormous source of inspiration and many, great ideas. But this view of Dave as a great scientist is very limited, because Dave is much more than that. Dave is a very warm, special human being, and he's had a big impact on his colleagues like me.
Dr. Evans credits both his pursuit of chemistry as a career and his approach to teaching to Norman Craig, his first chemistry professor and mentor at Oberlin.
Teaching is as important to me as research, simply because it so profoundly affected my own life. I've had great pleasure in meeting these great young people. So this is what drives me in teaching. I love it.
David Liu, former student and now a colleague, has first-hand experience with Dr. Evans' commitment to his students.
Taking Dave's class really showed me that chemistry was not only cool and important, but could be incredibly beautiful and intellectually stimulating. Dave at the time, was already a luminary, highly accomplished scientist, and he was actually taking the time to go over journal articles and make them more digestible to me as a sophomore undergraduate. This kind of time and attention is really emblematic of the kind of generosity that Dave has and his utter devotion to teaching.
Fighting painful arthritis, Dr. Evans is in the process of winding down his research group. With today's scarcity of funding, he hopes to open up dollars for younger scientists who will tear down the walls, he says. Eric Jacobson, longtime colleague and admirer, says Dr. Evans will leave a three-pronged legacy.
So first, the actual chemistry that he did. Second, the students that he produced directly in his labs. And third is the way that he taught organic chemistry in the classroom. He really created a method of teaching that I think has changed the way that field is taught. And he's dedicated a lot of his effort in his current phase of his career to writing a textbook on that's based on this course. But I think it's that legacy that may have the longest lasting impact.
Chemist and researcher, teacher and mentor. Known as much for his warmth and intellectual generosity as his science, Dave Evans' contributions to the field of organic chemistry are many and enduring. Now, please join us in saluting David A. Evans, the 2012 recipient of the Welch Award in Chemistry.